We have them on radar, sir. They'll be landing in a few moments.
Excellent. See that Counselor Swan is sent directly to me.
Yes, sir.
Doom 3, yeah, id Software released this thing in August of 2004, and for a few months there it was
The undefeated, heavyweight champion of the world.
when it came to FPS anyway, until November of that year when Half-Life 2 came out. And I guess people are divided on the whole Half-Life 2 versus Doom 3 matchup, but I think we can all concede that the former really blew the latter out of the water when it came to the environment design, the character development, the storytelling, and of course the facial animations. Just look at old Alex here,
If you really want to. compared
to Teresa Chasar. You know, that woman whose head breaks off from the rest of her body and turns into the lost soul? Or look at Eli Vance compared to BETRUGER.
Let me get a look at you, man.
Not even the same ballpark, right?
Ain't the same ballpark. It ain't the same league. It ain't even the same sport.
Okay, but even Half-Life 2 looks pretty basic compared to what they're doing nowadays. But the thing with Doom 3 though is that it wasn't just another run-of-the-mill first-person shooter.
This ain't your run-of-the-mill crapperware.
Doom 3 was a serious NuPont fiber-woven bowl, by which I mean it was a suspenseful, gut-wrenching survival horror experience. So if what you're looking for is trapped on a space station with the satanic demons jumping out at you from dark corners, then Doom 3 is the game you want to play. And I mean dark as in intentionally and unapologetically dark. And literally dark too, as in a lot of times it seems like more than 50% of your FOV is cloaked in pitch black shadow. And I'm reviewing the original game, no duct tape mod or BFG edition which let you attach the flashlight to the barrel of your gun. Nah, the original game is how nature intended. If you want to see in front of you, hit F to bring up the flashlight. If you want to shoot in front of you, hit F again to raise your weapon. But you can't have your cake and eat it too, and a lot of Doom 3 suspense comes from having to shoot blindly into the dark in the approximate direction of an apparent zombie groan. Yes it was. Okay, well I made one little modification. You can actually edit the config.ini file a bit to support modern screen resolutions. This footage is in 720, or you can just as easily make it 1080 if you're playing along at home. I just think it looks a lot better in 16:9 than if I captured it in full screen and then stretched it. Or worse yet, just had the two black columns on either side of a 4:3 format to make up the difference. I mean, wouldn't you agree? I'll take that as a yes. Anyway, the year is 2145, and thanks to the abolition of all antitrust legislation, humanity has put all its eggs in the UAC basket, and as a result, people seem to be doing pretty good technology-wise.
Just finish the coupling so we can continue.
UAC, in case you're wondering, stands for United Aerospace Corporation.
The Union Aerospace Corporation is the largest corporate entity in existence.
Right? So apparently what happened was between 2004 when Doom 3 came out and 2145 when the game's story takes place is that Google, Apple, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other Silicon Valley tech giants eventually merged with Lockheed and Academy and all the other big arms people, and then they all merged with big energy and then big pharma and then big ag, and just let me know if I'm leaving anyone out here. Yeah, they got retail too, and it looks something like this. Okay, so just to double check, am I forgetting anything else? Yes, you, sir, at the podium.
The Space Force.
Oh, certainly. So the deal with the Space Force was that when the companies conglomerated, they eventually hired all the local, state, and federal politicians into their ranks as mid-level managers to effectively seize control of the government, which of course included the Space Force as well as all the other branches of the military. So they wound up becoming quite an organization. And then they got Elon Musk to run the whole thing, but before he died, they changed his name to Samuel and then transferred his consciousness into the body of that immortal robot that appears in the Doom 2016 reboot. So that's how the UAC got started. And on the one hand, corporatocracy was great in terms of all the advanced technology it was able to develop. I mean, it could coordinate human resources to conceive of and build new inventions on an unprecedented scale, so that's all to the good. The first major problem, though, is that no one could afford any of the stuff the UAC produced, and so a lot of people ended up earning PhDs only to go off and work pretty crap, low-paying jobs in dark, isolated space stations.
Enough excuses. Just do your job and get the science team what they need.
No. Not a chance. Forget it. Well, what they offered was known as health insurance vouchers, which meant that if you purchased your own coverage through the historic Affordable Care Act of 2010, the UAC would reimburse a percentage of your costs based upon your compliance with their performance standards. Your level of compliance was reevaluated each month. Yeah, so a lot of people joined the Space Marines, where health insurance was still included at no additional cost, formerly called the Space Force, only to get posted to guard duty on dark, isolated space stations like the one on Mars.
Welcome to Mars.
Which is precisely the backstory of the game's anonymous, personality-less hero and playable character, DOOMGUY. Okay, so you see the continuity here. Just like in the previous Doom games from 93 and 94, you're the Space Marine DOOMGUY, newly stationed on Mars, when suddenly the demons of hell stage an outrageously unexpected invasion and you wind up having to single-handedly fend them off. Which leads us to UAC's second major problem, that of opening up portals to hell, as well as its third major problem while we're at it, that of being in concert with hell.
You cannot escape.
But on the plus side, those are really the only major problems with a corporate-run society, and so I hope it's reassured you to discover that there are only a paltry 3. Quantitatively speaking, that's really quite promising. The obviously insane BETRUGER is in charge of the whole Mars facility, which he's been using to refine the UAC's patented teleportation technology with the ulterior motive of visiting the demon occupants of hell. Yeah, he's actually traveled to the nether regions and made some new friends.
Darkest fears of the soul. Realize that your soul burns in hell.
And it's just after your superbly timed arrival, when a disgruntled scientist is about to blow the lid off the whole thing by leaking a lurid transmission back to Earth.
No, please. You must let me get this communication out. They have to be warned while there is still time.
That the demons reverse engineer BETRUGER's teleporter and occupy the Mars base, instantly zombifying most of its personnel. So now's where you come in. Grab your guns, 7 of which, along with a chainsaw you can inexplicably carry all at once, drive those demons back to hell, and close the portal for good. Yeah, you know the lineup. You get the bare fists, the aforementioned chainsaw, the pistol,
Now you're ready for combat.
the shotgun, a machine gun new to this entry, the Gatling gun, the plasma rifle, and eventually the coveted BFG. On the plus side, this time you can toss grenades at people, which comes as a huge help when the demons are trying to hide behind cover. But on the downside, you've got to reload whenever your non-upgradable clips run out. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, you MacGuffin forgetter-abouter, you, me. Yeah, that's the Soul Cube. Remember the Soul Sphere from the previous games? Well, now you got the Soul Cube. We're really checking off all the platonic solids here, right? Just be thankful it's not the Soul Dodecahedron, or worse yet, the Soul Icosahedron. Yeah, so now you understand the pun of them putting the 3 from Doom 3 in superscript on the box art. Is that supposed to be Doom 3, like the 3rd entry in the series, or Doom Cubed, referring to the Soul Cube? Yeah, pretty lame. Anyway, part of the Martian project was archaeology, but without Lara Croft. Apparently Mars was home to an ancient alien civilization which also had demonic infestation problems, so the ancient Martians devised a tool to keep the Hellspawn at bay, the Soul Cube, which the BETRUGER team at UAC excavated and then promptly turned over to Hell during one of BETRUGER's jaunts through the netherworld. And who do you think's gonna have to go retrieve the Soul Cube? And you indeed do venture into hell, which both from a visual and a plot perspective is the highlight of this game. Again, continuity. Here we're referring back to the 3rd episode of Doom 1, Inferno, which was supposed to also take place in hell, or a rather unconvincing representation of such, in my opinion anyway. Was it just me, or did Doom 1 really devolve graphically as you proceeded through its campaign? The first episode on the Phobos base looked phenomenal at the time. The second on the Deimos base, not so much, but still passable, and then Inferno was just kind of a mess. See what I mean? Anyway, whatever your feelings about the Inferno episode in Doom 1, hell was certainly done justice in Doom 3. It's awesome. You get all the open space receding into horrifically vast distances. You get the spooky animate architecture. You get all your series' favorite demons to battle. You get that annoying fight with that guardian to finally recover the soul cube, which thankfully is not only a MacGuffin, but also a weapon. Yeah, you charge the cube up by killing 5 demons in a row and then unleash it on whomever you please. It basically just obliterates everyone on screen. So the soul cube can really get you out of a jam, and it's even necessary for killing the final boss, which I won't reveal here to avoid spoilers, but you can probably guess who it is. The hell level happens about halfway through the campaign, and I know I said it was the highlight, but they actually managed to outdo themselves with the Sergeant Kelly fight. So early on, Sergeant Kelly is your new CO when you first arrive on Mars.
Now, here's the situation.
And he gives you directives over the comm system.
All units, this is Sergeant Kelly. We're under attack by an unknown enemy force. Fall back to Marine HQ to regroup.
And he's well written as a character too. On the one hand, he's always giving you a hard time about how you're not moving quickly enough, but you also feel like he's a competent and trustworthy manager. Anyway, he ominously stops broadcasting about a third of the way in, and so you assume the worst. He probably just got crushed in a roof collapse or released out of an airlock or something. Yeah, not quite. Actually, the demons mutilated him and then grafted his still conscious but zombified upper body onto a tank. Crucified on a high-tech weapon. Wow, those demons certainly do have a creepy sense of irony, right? And some people can beat this section without the soul cube, but not me. After an embarrassing series of deaths, I had to load a previous save and play the level all over again, this time making sure the cube was charged and ready to go once it was time to face off with the tank form of the zombified sergeant. Yeah, anyway. So nowadays, you got a lot of Doom to choose from out there. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. You've even got that free-to-play side-scrolling mini-Doom. But I'd still recommend finding time for good old Doom 3 in your busy Doom schedule, especially during the Halloween season. Pick up the original standalone version for cheap, or get the BFG edition, which includes Doom 1 and 2 from the 90s, as well as the expansion packs, The Resurrection of Evil, and The Lost Mission. If you made it all the way here, perhaps you liked the video and maybe you'd even like another. If so, click on a box. One's a video I made that YouTube's decided is most suitable for you personally based on the algorithm's thorough but entirely non-creepy knowledge of your browsing history. The other is just my most recent upload. Or if you really liked the video, click on that enthusiastic looking dog below and he'll lead you to my channel page where you can freely browse all my content. Or if you really liked the video, consider subscribing. That way you can take the Buzz in One challenge to non-creepily watch me as closely as YouTube non-creepily watches you.